Hello, hello. Welcome to another Studio Takes. I'm Dane Scott, along with Pocket Frog.
Dane's right-hand amphibian.
Don't know what I'd do without him, or you for that matter. It's good to have you, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening via podcast on one of the many podcast vendors that we are distributing through. Today's an exciting day as we do a German Civil War. What are we doing? We're pitting two high-end microphones against each other. One is the TLM 103, valued at $1,000. The other is the U87, valued at $3,200.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of an expensive matchup. How much difference is there between the two mics? Well, we're going to test them out and find out.
Hello? Is this thing on?
Studio Takes. Real help for the aspiring voiceover artist and Fiverr entrepreneur.
So the plan today is to listen to samples that have been recorded with both mics, compare them, see how much difference there is, and then to try and help Dane make a decision. Which mic is he going to stick with as his daily, day-to-day voiceover mic? Will it be the 103 or the U87? Maybe you'll be surprised, maybe you won't. It all depends on your viewpoint. The price-value thing is a big part of it, and we're going to talk about all of that coming up. First of all, though, let me just encourage you to stay tuned till the end, because today I'm going to give away a special bargain on the Head Slapper package. It's a 4-video package, 4 of the techniques and the 4 very best techniques I've ever found for succeeding on Fiverr. And we're doing pretty good on Fiverr right now. This month we're going to come in at about $15,000 in sales. So, the tricks or techniques, whatever you want to call them, they work. And the price is already good on this, and we're going to slap another $25 discount on there for you today. So stick around for the end and the coupon code that I'm going to give you for that. Now, let's get right down to it. And as I mentioned, we're going to be pitting the two microphones against each other, and we'll see which one sounds best and draw some conclusions about which one might be the best choice for me and which might be the best choice for you if it comes down to a decision between two mics of this caliber. What I'm going to do, though, is not the typical thing that you'll sometimes see in the shootouts online. I'm not going to set up 2 racks or 2 mounts with 2 cables and run them simultaneously into an interface and record them both at the same time, because I'm not convinced that setting mics up side by side like that is a good representation of how the mic is going to sound when it's all by itself. I think that there are enough ghosts in the air, related to the positioning of the mics adjacent to each other and some other factors. The distances might be not exact. Plus, both of them are going to be slightly off axis because you can't have your mouth in front of both of them at the same time. So I'm not a big believer in that approach. I'm sure that it can get you real close, but I think what makes even better sense in my own case is what I'm used to doing on a day-to-day basis, and that's to position the mic exactly where I put it when I'm doing voiceovers. It's a certain distance from my mouth. In this case, it is this distance right here, the distance from this knuckle to this thumb tip. And the reason I don't go this far is because I have big hands. So this makes more sense. This will give me the distance that I want, kind of the, hitchhiking look. And so that's what I use as measurement. I go straight in front of me like this and then down at an angle about like that. And that's where I position the mic. And so I'll show actually in the YouTube video what that kind of looks like when the mic is positioned just where I put it. And then I make sure my face is just at the right angle, the right distance. And by doing it that way, we should have a very close representation of the two microphones. Now, I've already done the recording. And actually, all I used for this was I did a recording for one of these kind of funky top 10 list YouTube things, just the introductory paragraph, just to have something that we can listen to from both. Obviously, they were not recorded at the same time. I recorded one, then I remounted, put the other mic up, and recorded that. And one does have a little more gain than the other. But I'm not going to tell you, as you're listening, which one is which. What I did was to just go in the editor and adjust the gain so the two are identical in gain, that meaning the volume. If you look at the waveforms look the same height on both. That's basically what I'm saying. They're not done with any compression, and as a matter of fact, you may notice that today's session is not as loud as the usual sessions where I run a little bit of loudness compression to kind of beef up the signal, because we're comparing mics and we want it to sound really clear and crisp with no effect at all. We're doing this absolutely clean today. No effects, no loudness adjustment or anything. So again, the overall sound of this YouTube video is going to be a little lower than some of the other ones that you've heard. So with that said, what I'm going to do is bring up next the copy that I was reading. And now for those listening to the podcast, let me explain that I do have the copy up in front of us here, and I also have both of the audio files up, though I have them set up in such a way as to obscure the file names, so we don't know which one is which. I happen to know, but I ain't saying. All right, so we have two audio files up. You can follow along on the copy if you like, if you're watching, but it's just a piece of copy, just an introduction to a YouTube video. I'll play the first, then the second, and maybe we'll go back a little bit, back and forth, and you can draw your own conclusions, and then at the end I'll reveal which one is which. So here we go. This is the first one. Hello, friends. If you're one of those people who would give anything to spend their life traveling, then you need to know these incredible and useful facts about secrets on board an aircraft that you probably didn't know about. Some of these facts will come in handy during your trip, and some might come as an unpleasant surprise. So let's begin. All right, that's the first mic. Here's the other mic. Hello, friends. If you are one of those people who would give anything to spend their life traveling, then you need to know these incredible and useful facts about secrets on board an aircraft that you probably didn't know about. Some of these facts might come in handy during your trip, and some might come as an unpleasant surprise. So let's begin. All right, that one I'm just thinking may be a slightly lower volume. Let's just make sure it's normalized. Yeah, I think they both are normalized, but there might be just a little bit of louder relative volume of the peaks on one than the other. So again, let's go to the first one again. This is number one. Hello, friends. If you're one of those people who would give anything to spend their life traveling, then you need to know these incredible and useful facts about secrets on board an aircraft. Then number two. Hello, friends. If you are one of those people who would give anything to spend their life traveling, then you need to know these incredible and useful facts about secrets on board an aircraft that you probably didn't know about. Let's go back to the first again. Hello, friends. If you're one of those people who would give anything to spend their life traveling, and here's number two, some of these facts might come in handy during your trip, and some might come as an unpleasant surprise. So let's begin. All right. So what do you think? Which one is which? They're both Neumann mics, again to review. One of them is a $3,200 mic. The other is a $1,000 mic. They're obviously both good mics. And, you know, when you listen to the two of them, one and then the other, how's your ear for that? Are you picking up anything? I'm really anxious to hear your comments on this. So be sure to leave comments, whether you're watching the YouTube video or whether you're listening to the podcast. Tell us which one you think is which. Well, we will have revealed it, but you can tell us which one you thought was which, okay? And now we're going to tell you which one is which. Okay, so the first one was the U87. That's the really expensive one, the $3,200 mic. And the second one was the TLM 103. That's the $1,000 mic. And I've got to tell you that for my own ear, there's a little difference, but I don't think there's a ton of difference between those two microphones. I'm not an audiophile. I'm not someone that's got the absolute finest tuned ear. So you might be able to pick up subtle nuances that I'm not getting. But I'll tell you what I think I hear. And maybe, again, you can tell me in your comments what you think. I think I hear a little more presence in the U87, a little more depth, maybe a little bit more of a flat response, and the 103 to me sounds like it has a little more of a featured high end. It's got a little more brilliancy, perhaps. Both of them, I think, have plenty of, recognizable high frequency. There's no trouble with the clarity of either one. And, putting them up against each other, it is not an easy thing to tell them apart. Was I alone in thinking that? Well, I contacted a friend of mine, Carl, at the Bridge Studio in Green Bay, Wisconsin, who's got a beautiful studio of top-end equipment and really knows his stuff. Plus, he's got a good set of ears. And this is what Carl had to say. Carl's comment was, I just put the audio into Pro Tools. This was the side-by-side comparison audio that I did and sent to him. He said, I put the audio into Pro Tools and cranked up the monitors. I find them almost indistinguishable. Both pristine sounding. So this was his feedback on it, and it kind of reinforced what I was thinking too. And again, be sure to comment. I would love to hear your comments. Somebody with real eagle ears might be picking up more than I did, or maybe even than Carl did. So let me hear what you have to say about it. But I think in general, it's kind of a horse apiece, as they say. The two of them are both excellent, excellent mics. I've been using the 103 for, 2-3 years now, and I'm super pleased with it. I think it's a great mic. Tried the 87, and, I really like the sound of that too. I think there is a little more depth and richness in the 87, and I'll actually show you something right now. I'm going to move the camera over, and you'll see that the one I'm talking into right now is the U87. That's the long one. Okay, that's the, I'll turn it this way so you can see it better. That is the U87 mic. So that's the one I'm talking into. That's the one I have mounted right now. And I really like the sound of it. Anytime you get a new mic, there's a certain amount of adjustment period where you're going, I was so used to how I sounded in the other mic. But I don't think that it would take long to adjust in this case, because certainly it's very close to the original. And if anything, I may just have to get used to the idea that it has a little more richness, a little more, mid-range, or a little more depth and body to the sound. Will it make me sound too boomy? I'm still thinking about that. But let me just tell you why I don't think when you're making a decision about one of these mics over the other, that you should necessarily make the assumption that you ought to go with the really expensive one. And that's this. Let me actually show you, for the YouTubers here, I'm going to show you a couple of pictures, and then I'll explain why I'm showing you pictures. What's being shown right now are pictures of two faces taken of the same young lady, and in both cases, the subject is the same. Lovely face, lovely smile. In one of the pictures, it's overblown. There's too much light. There's too much, because of the fact that the lighting isn't right. There's a lot of grain in the photo, and you could take it into Photoshop, and you could do some interesting things to try and make it look better. But because of the inadequacies of the original photo, there's only so much you can do with it. Now, the picture on the right is well lit. It's clear. The flesh tones look right. Everything about it is looking pretty good. Now, you could take that picture and bring it into Photoshop, and you could fine-tune it dozens of different ways, get different effects, to get different appearance to the thing, to sharpen it up, to smooth out different elements of it, to blur imperfections, whatever you wanted to do. But the fact is, because the one that is in this example on the right is a nice, clear picture that represents her well, there's enough good data there that it can be fine-tuned. So the same thing is true of microphones. If you have a microphone that is relatively flat and reproduces your voice well, and doesn't have a lot of kind of nastiness to it, or artifacts, or, the curve is so messed up that it would be hard to, the equalization curve is so messed up that it would be hard to get it right. So just as in this case of the pictures, the girl's face is the subject. In our case, it's our voice. It's us. We're the subject. The microphone is like the camera. And if the microphone takes a good picture, it's possible for you to basically Photoshop it a little bit if you want to just enhance it slightly, maybe take down a little bit of the brightness, which kind of applies to both voices and to pictures, to do all kinds of things to just nuance it a little bit. So whether you have one mic or the other, you can get it to where you want it to be. And for that reason, I don't think that there's a compelling reason for the U87 over the 103 when it comes to doing voiceovers. In my own case, I think I've decided I am going to stick with the U87. I like how it sounds, and the other thing is that I actually need the tax write-off right now, so we're going to go ahead and take it. I'm going to hang on to the 103 for a while, though, because I have jobs coming in occasionally now that will be for previous projects that we've done before, and I'd like to be able to exactly match, the mic that I did them on with the one that was originally used. So we'll hang on to both of them for now. Maybe eventually I'll sell off the 103. But certainly it's a mic for life to have the U87. And I think I can justify it at this point in my career, and the tax write-off is something that I need. So I think we're going to go ahead and hang on to the U87. Now, as I promised you, I'm going to give you a special deal. So, okay, for those who are interested in head slappers, maybe you've heard about them for a while, there are 4 videos each. I don't know, they're between 15 minutes and 30 minutes long, and they cover some information that is absolutely killer. I'm making money every day with the techniques that are in there, and at least one of them is making me significant money on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. So get these 4. I'm telling you, just get them. And if you'd like them, they're normally $50 a piece. I'm selling them as a bundle on the website for $175. And right now, you're going to take another $25 off if you put in, when you are checking out, the coupon code GIGDOC discount. It's all one word, GIGDOCDISCOUNT, GIGDOC discount. Put that in when you're checking out, and you'll get them for $125. Absolutely guarantee they're going to make you more than that. Great session. We're really glad that you swung by.
Don't forget about the podcast.
Oh, almost did, too. If you are listening to the podcast, make sure that you like it. Give us the 5 stars on whatever platform you're on, because that helps us out hugely. And leaving comments in YouTube is also a really big thing for us. It helps us to be found. It increases us in the search rankings. So comments are a great thing. And this was really fun today. Obviously, I like to geek out on mics anyway, and to be able to put 2 of these really nice mics up against each other like we did today, that makes it extra special. So until next time, thank you for watching and listening. I'm Dane Scott for Studio Takes.
You give me a call.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, I think.
Hello, cutie pie.
Until I heard the voice, I'd never done a crazy thing in my whole life.
Goodbye.